Hey guys, I want to go over what's going on with the Bitcoin price today and why I think this is potentially quite an exciting day as compared to most other green candle days in the crypto market. I want to start by looking out the daily here. You guys know that in my last couple of videos I have been pointing out this green ascending parallel channel, and I had also mentioned that I was kind of looking at this as if we don't break support soon and make our move to the downside, that the bulls are going to end up taking their chance at running the price to the upper side of the price range. And also, we did have this red trend line here that broke, and we formed a little bit of a support flip there. And you guys know how I've been kind of watching that on the weekly channel also, but more between these white lines. I can just zoom out to the weekly here quick for you guys. And yeah, we have the same thing happening here, right? We had our break above, and we're turning it into a bit of a support flip. Going back to the daily here, though, look at this candle. We had a few days, well, we've had quite a range here of days that have been just consolidating along that support, and as much as I would assume that tapping away at it like that could weaken it, you can see here that we had this engulfing candle next to this red candle, and to me that's quite bullish, especially coming off two important trend lines like that. I think it's only a matter of time here until we do test back up to at least this white line, which is that weekly triangle I've been pointing out to you guys for, well, since March, I believe. But also, I'm kind of thinking that we might even get above that and start testing this line before moving to the upside of this green channel. And I just want to, I know I pointed this out in my last video, but I want to make the comparison to Tesla here. Bitcoin, here we had our COVID dump, followed by our breakout and support flip of this red downtrend line. Now, if I go over to Tesla, you can see we had a red downtrend line from the COVID dump, followed by a break and a support flip. Got up into a green channel, bouncing around in there a little bit before forming a double bottom along the top of that channel, forming a perfect resist to support flip as well. And I'm just actually, one thing I want to compare here that I haven't really looked into yet is the size of these channels. Let's take the lowest point of the Tesla channel to where it broke out from. It's about a 37% trading range. Let's go to Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised if it's either, well, really close or even a bit higher, just because cryptos generally move a little harder than traditional markets. So let's say we take from the lowest point in this channel and go towards a potential breakout point if it were to happen very soon. Well, look at that, guys. The price range is damn near identical. It's around that 37-38%. So it's like I'm just finding more similarities every day between these two charts as I look at them a little bit. So that's just another, what I'm going to consider quite bullish factor with the price when looking at what happened to Tesla. Also here, supporting this price range, you can see that this red downtrend line, I also have a red downtrend line on the RSI. We also had that support flip, which coincides with the price having that same support flip. And also we're starting to hold this line of support on the RSI, which matches this trading range here where it's held support. So just a few things, kind of looking at indicators, looking at random comparisons to other charts, that sort of stuff. Now I want to go into the trade that I took based on this. You can see if I zoom into the 15-minute here, I had this little bit of a yellow wedge. It was a very small pattern, but I've been just looking for long snipes when I've been looking at random downtrend lines, looking at breakouts with support flips, that sort of stuff, and taking little snipes. But this one turned into a little bit more than just a little snipe here. So I did have this triangle playing out, or this wedge. And what I did then is I made a support line that is connecting the support that carried us out of that wedge. And you can see that if I zoom right in here, sorry, this is getting a little picky here, but yeah, so I extend this line of support which carried us out of this little yellow wedge here, and you can see that we formed another little bit of a retest of support. So I entered a long at this blue horizontal line. Oh, sorry guys. I entered a long position here because after this green candle closed, I set a stop buy just above it because I figured if we were going to dump through this support that it was going to happen immediately when the candle opened. But you can see that it moved to the upside. I was able to keep a very tight stop loss. So I figured the risk reward there was well worth the gamble, if you want to call it that. Where I started taking profits. So, well, let me clarify. This was a 25x trade. So from 91.70 was my entry. My first take profits, I closed half my position around 93.74, 75, somewhere in there. At 25x, it ended up being about, I think it was a 57% profit booked in. But that was with half my position, guys. And the remaining half, I have set stop losses in place in profit. So if this trend is about to reverse and I am wrong about this macro outlook, then I'm just going to lock in more profits as I hit these blue horizontal lines here, stopping me out of the rest of my position. One reason I would not doubt that happening is if I go to the 1 hour, I would not be all that surprised if we would, I mean, we might consolidate along here a little more, but I would not be surprised to see us retest this red line, this red diagonal line. If I zoom out, I could probably see it better on the 4 hour. It's only 3 touch points, but it is 3 touch points. So we got the starting here, another touch point, and we have the breakout. And I would not be surprised to see a bit of a retest as a support flip there. I want to look at it at the 1 hour here. Yeah, you can see that it just had a little bit more confluence, maybe 1-2 more touch points, but you get my point. That's a line of interest to me, and I wouldn't be surprised to get that resist to support flip. So all in all, guys, I'm looking at this pretty bullishly. If we happen to just have this candle dump below the base of this general area here, and then drop this green line of support, I think that the market could end up moving to the downside and possibly even quite a bit, retesting this white trend line, something like that. But that's a little while from now. I don't really see that happening today, but it is crypto. Stranger things have happened, but you guys know that I've been leaning bullish for quite some time now. And my opinion, I feel like, was kind of validated with this big engulfing candle today. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this candle kind of retest back down, just wick down to the bottom of that green trade range, but I really don't expect it to break down below. And if it does, risk management, guys, I am going to ladder out of my position, just lock in profits if that happens, and may even enter a short, maybe a momentum short or something like that, but we'll have to see. I'm more interested in the long side of things right now, just with the way the Tesla chart looks compared to this, and just how I've been leaning in this market as a whole for the last few months. I'm not about to change my opinion, so I am more willing to play those falling wedges and triangle breaks to the upside and that sort of stuff. Of course, guys, none of this is financial advice. These are only my own opinions. Always do your own research before investing your own hard-earned money. These are only my opinions on what's happening in the market and things I'm looking at potentially playing. Hoping to teach a few people a little bit of stuff in the process. And speaking of that, if you guys could just hit the like button, leave a comment, show some interest, do whatever. Subscribe if you haven't, that sort of stuff. Tell a friend about this channel if you have someone who's interested in technical analysis or getting into day trading or anything like that. Feel free to share this video. Other than that, guys, for now, we're going to have to see what the crypto gods have in store for us. And with that, I am out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace. Actually, one last thing I want to point out to you guys is if I pull up this Wall Street cheat sheet, I want to point out that I believe there's a chance we might be kind of right in this general area. I know the whole thing isn't exactly perfect because I think we already had our natural market cycle, and perhaps this last little dump was just because of the COVID, so it looks a little different on our chart. But either way, we have this unexpected dump down, right? And then we have our V-shaped recovery. And then we're just struggling right at horizontal resistance, which that's what I'm seeing a lot of analysts online in the crypto space especially are talking about, that we're at horizontal resistance, and that we haven't set a new macro higher high and all that, so it's technically still bearish. But we aren't dumping. We're forming this kind of a thing where we are just trading sideways in a somewhat of a parallel channel right below horizontal resistance. And much like what Tesla did, you can see that this broke out, tested it as support a little bit, consolidated, and then starts to take off, right? So that's just one of those things. If I look at Bitcoin right now on the weekly, you can see that we obviously have our COVID dump, our V-shaped recovery, and we're right at horizontal resistance, just trading sideways, guys. So to me, it kind of looks like that uh, kind of area of a market cycle. You can't deny that there was absolutely panic selling happening because, well, obviously the whole world was in panic, and the first thing to go is risky assets, right? So um, that's just one thing I'm kind of looking at. Is I don't necessarily think this whole thing lines up, because I think our market cycle did happen already, but this unexpected dump, V-shaped recovery, horizontal resistance, tapping away at it sideways like that looks very familiar to a lot of things. The Bitcoin chart, this chart, and the Tesla chart. So that's just another thing kind of lining up with all my theories that I'm willing to throw out there into the world. Obviously, none of this has to happen, but just something to keep on the radar. Anyways, guys, now I'm out for real. Peace.